welcome to the live stream. I forgot I don't have my like fancy intro thing going right now, but so I am gonna read. I was like, I totally forgot that I was supposed to read this intro and like went on my normal ramble about something else. But welcome to our sick live stream on the intersection of art and AI. My name is Jay. I'm the AI art wizard, and joining me is my co-host Cory, the AI music sage, as our new titles have been adorned on us by the AI gods out there. So we'll be showing you how AI can revolutionize art and music, from generating mesmerizing 3D images to composing new sounds and styles. So you'll learn how to train AI. Well, actually, we're not going to show you how to train AI models. I don't know how to do that. To create unique and amazing things, just like training Pokemon. It's not that easy, but you get the idea. So join us while we discover the future of AI and the future of art and music with AI. Awesome. There's your intro.
Thank you for reading that.
I tried my best to make it not sound like I was reading an AI-generated intro, but I've noticed a lot of people doing that, where they just like have the AI write the whole like script for their YouTube videos, and just read the script off. There are people doing it with like, fitness stuff and things like that, where it's just like they could just generate the script and read it back and post that on YouTube and call it good.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful tool.
Totally. So we've all been like reading text written by AI for quite some time. It's been a thing in like internet news articles for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But this generalized model called ChatGPT is the new hot thing. And ChatGPT wrote that intro. It was pretty fun. Like I had it like just based on a prompt. I was like, hey, write an intro for our live stream. And then I just like iterated on it. You can see actually the history of my, if you can see my screen. I asked it to make an intro for our live stream on the subject of AI art, and that is engaging for teenagers.
Yeah, all those teenagers out there watching.
Yeah, and so it gave me something that was kind of bland. So I asked it to
Yo, what's up, homies?
Yeah, well,
Why
so
didn't I do that one?
Well, so I asked it. So I said I like it, but I asked it to make it a longer and use cool slang like they do in the movie Hook. And so yeah, it started saying that's where the idea of the sick live stream came from. So I iterated with it. I asked it to take out some of the slang, introduce us, cover 3D art and music, add the word bangarang, and insult Captain Hook at some point.
That didn't make the cut.
No, I did. I like that it said, "Don't worry, this isn't like Captain Hook's idea of art. This is the real deal." It's pretty funny. Anyways, so I went through a few different versions, but like got something I was like, oh, this is kind of like sort of a thing that was useful, and it was just it happened in this really conversational way. This thing is pretty freaky. I would recommend anyone get online and play with this thing if you can, just to see like what it is that people are talking about. Every time I speak to someone else about it, they suggest to me or comes to me a new idea of a way to use this thing. I was just talking to Jenny the poet out there, and about this as a potential tool for her teaching and writing. Helping people like workshop poems or rewriting their poems in a different style. Or I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to like make rap lyrics have a better rhythm. That's what I'm interested in trying next. But anyways, it can do all kinds of wacky stuff. And so there are a variety of these sorts of things doing all sorts of strange things. And we just want to like give you a little glimpse into ways that we sort of like come up with to integrate these sort of like AI tools into a creative process. There's a lot of dialogue out there about how the robots are coming for our creative jobs now and all this stuff, but I think it's like these are just like any other tool. It is a tool, and if you learn to work with it instead of against it, it could be a useful tool for you. So we've been brainstorming things to do with it and playing around with some simple tools. And we're going to show a quick like 3D visual thing. And then I'll talk about some interesting music related stuff because I finally found some stuff to talk about. So yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is being trained on. These models are trained often on images and text because those are the easiest things to access. Right? They can just crawl the internet and hoover up huge collections of images and text. Audio files and video files are trickier because they're much larger pieces of data generally, and also have a time-based component that has to like actually watch the video frame by frame and go through it. So it's like it's not as convenient to generate huge data sets of those things, which is, I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is why that stuff lags a little behind some of these things, which feel extremely futuristic to me. Yeah, anyways. But it's happening in the 3D visual space, slowly but surely. Jay's got a weird thing that we found the other day to show you.
Yeah, what was the name of the artist that you found that was using this?
Oh, who was it?
It was one that was sculpting in VR too.
I believe it's like the account they're called Yonk.
I thought this really inspired me. I even took the VR headset that's usually here in the office home and was like messing with some VR sculpting, and they showcased this this add-on for Blender.
Yeah,
I'll let you find it, and I'll kind of.
I'm trying. Here's like.
Oh, there you go.
Here's their Instagram. Their website doesn't load properly in my web browser for some reason. I got turned on to these folks because they're making some flyers for some musicians I like. And this is like a 3D. This is sculpted in VR.
Yeah, using
textured in Blender, I think.
Yeah. Well, there was one that they were talking about. I mean, a lot of this is probably hand-done. I think it was this one, the blue guy in the center. I think
it
was that one.
It was. You're right. Yeah. So we found this, which was they talk about the process. This is an AI generated. So okay.
Concept art.
Right. So as an idea of workflow, one thing that visual artists I personally know are already doing. My partner is doing this right now. Using AI to generate visual prompts for further art. Right. So this is like an AI generated image of some sort of ogre creature, which they then went and, as you can see in my screen, sculpted using VR.
Yep, that's the Oculus Quest right there. So some of you may already have one of those at home. They're pretty, just as affordable as like a standard console.
Yep. And so then the cool thing is that this generative texture add-on for Blender will create textures for your models based on a text prompt. And then you can apply them to your thing. So this guy's texture is AI generated. And you could probably explain better than I what's kind of like so exceptionally interesting about it, which is like the perspective stuff, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll show you guys just real quick how you can kind of get this set up. So let me switch over to, won't take too long, but here's a new blend file. You can add add-ons just by going to Edit and Preferences, and in here you have all your add-ons. And the website is, if you look, the name of the app is, I had it here, Dream Textures. So if you search that up on Google, you'll probably find their either their Blender Market page, which looks like this, but this is not actually the newest version. So you'll want to go to the website, which is their GitHub page, and go to Dream Textures, and from here you can just scroll down and you'll see kind of all the different features that this add-on has, and there's some really cool stuff. I've been messing with this is new in this version, that's why I suggest going on here and downloading it. But it's it can give you textures based on image depth, which is really interesting. There's some other options that I haven't messed with yet, render passes and this sort of, you've probably seen this in some other AI generation stuff if you've been around and checked it out, where you can kind of add more to a piece of image, essentially expand it. But yeah, so within Blender, once you get it downloaded, there are actually, one other thing I should show you real quick, just if you're doing this at home, you can go here to the latest releases, and there's a few different versions. Of course, you can get it for all the major OS or all the major platforms. But I got the Windows one, and you can either get here. You can get the CUDA, which will render on your CPU. So if you don't have a very beefy computer, I wouldn't recommend this one necessarily. This does take a graphics card as well, so you need it. This is actually, I think, probably requires a GPU because it is NVIDIA rendering. So if you have a GPU in your computer, get this one. You can do it all yourself. If not, you can sign up and use Dream Textures, which is a cloud-based AI generating tool. So that you just like sign in, it gives you a code, you use it. You do have like a restricted amount of credits that you can use for generating, but it gives you quite a few when you first sign up. So if you want to mess around with it, you can. So you get that. It's a pretty big file. Once you get that, unzip it, come into Blender, install. You can find your Zoom, it should be a zip file. You gotta unzip the 7-zip, so you get a zip file, if that makes any sense. Then you can install it into your Blender file. And then one other thing to note when you do that is make sure that you install the models. So like we talked about training models to for AI, it needs to know its stuff. So if you have it on your own computer, you have to, this won't require internet accessibility. You can just put that information, that data onto your computer. So this is a super cool add-on because it has this built in. So by default, it will tell you in here after you check this little box to download there's the main training module thing, just basic Stable Diffusion, and then there's also Stable Diffusion. If you're going to do the depth stuff, you'll need to search up here for depth, and you'll find other models, which is cool because you can go and search around and find other models if you know what you want to use and see if it's accessible. So there's a few other things in here, but we won't worry about that right now. But basically, in Blender now, you should get mainly if you're doing just textures, if you go to your side panel, hitting N on your keyboard, you'll get a bunch of these little tabs. It'll do the same in the 3D viewport. But you see Dream here, this is what we're looking for. Now they're different depending on which window you're in. So if you want to do a flat 2D texture, you need to be in this view here, the UV editor view or the image editor view. I believe you can do it in as well. So one of those other ones, and you can see they're totally different. There's some similarities, but they are different. So this one will give you the depth. You'll have to change your model, but I'll show you the 2D one first. So it's pretty much the same as just generating it on any website. You've got your different types of prompts. You can kind of have there's sort of different categories. Like obviously we're going to make a texture. So let's do, the one I've been testing is the mossy brick. So, and we can actually make this seamless too, which is really cool.
Oh, right.
So you can tile it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then you can add some negative prompts if there's things you don't want.
Oh, cool.
Which is nice. You can feed it a source image as well. I haven't tried this yet. I've only messed around with this a little bit, but I just want to show you guys how to set it up. You can see I did a few renders here. I'm going to actually close these. So this is essentially what you get. So now you can change the size. For some reason, I wasn't able to get this to render a 1024, which is kind of the next step up as far as textures go. It wasn't starting for me. It was at home, but not on this computer for some reason. So there's a few more advanced stuff. If you're familiar with this, you can change like how many steps it takes, how many like different images it combines together, kind of thing. And there's some other options for the seed and how it picks out what it picks out. And so again, play with all those settings and you'll get different results every time. So you can also have it generate multiple iterations, but we're just going to do one for now. And once I start this, I can just hit generate and we should see it starting right here. It may take a second. I didn't restart it. It should work, hopefully. It was kind of being a little weird when I opened it earlier. So
it's got a new
process.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah. So you can actually see it
dreaming away.
Yep. Coming up with our mossy brick texture here.
Starting to look a little mossier.
Yeah, a little more like brick. Let's see.
More like brick. Oh man, that's so fun. Oh wow.
There we go.
Hey.
Kind of not the nicest looking texture, but you got to kind of mess around with it. And I got a really nice mossy brick the other day that was like, oh, this is legit. Like I used this in a project.
I wonder if you could like prompt it like mossy brick like Skyrim or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, give it something more specific.
Like just something
like
like yeah, some style cue.
Yeah.
Because like these are like it's like this kind of looks like a mashup of every mossy brick in the ever kind of thing. Or
yeah,
something.
you might need more prompts and
more yeah.
But this gives you a general idea, and then if you want to apply it to your model, it's just like applying any texture. It actually saves it as a. I wish it kind of saved it as your prompt name.
Oh, it gives it nicer,
but it gives you the seed. Yeah, so we can name this just so we know what this is. And then over here, of course, just regular Blender. You get your base color. You plug in. Whoops. Hit the little dot. You plug in a image texture. You go to this drop down, find your mossy brick, and then we'll need to switch into a material preview, and there it is on our cube. I'm gonna adjust this. Let's see if it's actually seamless. Yeah, that's pretty darn seamless.
Wow.
That looks.
That actually, it's weird, but like at that scale, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, so I just scaled it up so it tiles itself.
Yeah.
But yeah,
man, the tiling looks great.
Really seamless. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, honestly. So yeah, you can do a whole bunch with that, which is really cool. The other thing that you can do is using kind of it's a little bit more complex as far as how it renders things. But let me add some other shapes in here. Let's add in a cylinder. I'm just gonna add something to give this scene some depth, and then maybe we'll throw Suzanne in here since I haven't really messed with this. I'm not sure what kind of results we'll get. But what you can do is it will actually generate a image based on the depth of your scene. So depending on where things are located and actually where your camera is when you hit the render button. So let's go for something. Let's just add a few more things to this just to give it some variation. And then maybe a sphere somewhere. Cool. Let's put that up here. Cool, okay. So let's just shade that all smooth. It's gonna look a little bit weird, but that's okay. Once we put textures on there, it won't look as weird. So what we wanna do is actually combine all of these into one object. It makes it a little bit easier. We can actually ignore it, hold on. Let's hide that, there we go. We don't need that anymore for now. Actually, we might go back to it, but I'll show you here in a second. So I'm just gonna join all these. Control J, that joins everything. Now it's all one object. And the interesting thing is you need to be in edit mode and select what you want it to apply the texture to. So I've got the whole scene selected right now. Now it says up here unsupported model. We have to change that to the depth model if you haven't downloaded that one. And these are pretty big, just mind you too, if you don't have a lot of space on your computer.
How big are they?
They're like both about 8 gigs.
Oh, that's it?
So
I would have expected more.
Yeah, they're not massive, but if you got a small, if you got a 128 hard drive or whatever, you can eats up quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So I got to change the depth. That went away. I can change my prompt. If I don't want textures, I can do something else like concept art. Let's do like cyberpunk. I don't know what cinematic would be, but it might be interesting.
Borg cube.
Borg cube?
Borg cube. Can you get it?
B-O-R-G?
Like from Star
Borg?
Trek?
Oh,
Yeah.
Borg cube. Okay.
Yeah, like a Borg cube.
Okay. Is it one word or two?
I would use 2 words. Yeah, cube.
Okay.
Their spaceships are giant cubes. They're just like exposed pipes, basically.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know. You can try something else. But
no, that's fine. I mean, it will give us something.
Yeah.
So same options, kind of. You don't have an image thing to feed in, but you do have texture, size, if you want. Like I said, it wasn't working. Actually, I'm going to bring that back up where you can see our UV editor. Just to, it's going to look a little bit weird here for a second, since we have, I want to just scale this back down to a reasonable size. There we go. They're all kind of mashed up right now, so we may want to, it's actually not going to matter. It's going to change our UVs. So that's one thing that's a little bit weird with this way of doing it. It projects the UVs. You'll see here in a second. So depending, it does change based on where your camera's at. So let me just put that right there. Okay, let's try that. So go back into, hit N on the keyboard. That opens up the property of the panel over here, and then I think we're good to go. So project dream texture.
Woo!
And then we'll give it a second. You can see what it did to the UVs. You guys should, like,
oh, that's fascinating.
2D plane. And then it just projects it on there. So you can actually do this. You can project textures like this in Blender without doing this. There is an option in the UV unwrapping stuff, but that's how it uses this. So it really is not like, for production purposes, I mean, I guess you could bake. There's a way to bake in textures and then unwrap them again. So, because like this, you wouldn't want to use this for a game or something. You'd have to do some texture baking stuff. So let's hope this goes through.
Yeah, when I was running some like stable diffusion models on my computer, like it was like every like third result would be just like noise.
I did get a noise one earlier, but sometimes doing the cloud-based stuff is faster.
Yeah. I think there was something buggy about the implementation, probably like an M1 Mac bug or something.
So hopefully this will go.
One would hope. Yeah. I wonder if it has to like dream extra hard about this board cube. You know what I mean? It might be like a...
Unsure.
Yeah, like if it's like trying to, I don't know, like if that's not a part of the... If that prompt doesn't pull up a lot of results in the in the subset of the whole data set that you're asking it to look at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder about that sometimes. I don't know.
This was like, I was having to like save and restart. So let's just save this real quick.
We're not going to get too crazy with the music stuff. I just want to show y'all some weird things and share some ideas about how I would use them.
Let me just try that one more time. Oh, maybe that will go. Yeah, there's it's still obviously not like super stable, even though it's stable diffusion.
At least the diffusion is stable.
Oh, there we go. Now it's going.
Sweet.
You won't see it here for a second. Actually, I'll turn on. There we go.
Fun.
So it does the same deal. And here in a second, we'll see it pop up over here too. It's gonna give us something.
Oh yeah, board cube. It did its best. That's pretty. It's kind of projected there on the ground. Yeah, this is. Yeah. Hey, it made Susanna Borg. It did a good job. Look at that. It gave Susanna Borg eye. That's great. So it picked up on the face. It saw that as an eye, or at least like a round thing that deserved a light. I mean, you know what a Borg looks like, yeah, Jay?
Yeah, see, look at the sick like texture though that it made.
That's beautiful.
Like this is, see, it's kind of the same style. So I think what I've noticed is that I think that you're supposed to actually use this texture and not the 3D thing. Like the 3D thing, sure, it's cool, but like this, I've noticed some of the ones I was generating earlier, like the texture that it made looked cooler. So it's like using the 3D scene as a reference for the generated image instead of a 3D scene for, for a texture.
Right. So like you can already do that like with 2D scenes, right? You can give it an image and have it dream upon that. But what's cool about this is you can dictate the depth of field. You have a lot of control. Like you had a ton of control over that composition.
Yeah, this is the tower. That's the front one. You know,
that's
and
the back
one.
one.
The back,
and the one with the sphere
the
on
little
it.
cube, and then the one with the sphere. And then Suzanne turned it into this interesting like castle-looking ship thing.
Yeah.
And then the ground is really cool. And then the space behind it, like.
Yeah.
So it actually that's pretty sweet. Because I think, like I said, the ones I was seeing earlier, the picture and the texture it made for us for the to be projected onto the image. This was cooler. So I bet if you had a more complex like 3D scene, you might get some more interesting results.
Right, because this is like I don't know, some kind of cylinder. Like, you know, it's very unspecific. Right. Whereas I feel like it's sort of like Suzanne having more detail. Even though the thing it dreamed up is not a monkey's face, it like maps onto her face like the way I would expect. Like if you look at it, like that looks like a Borg character's face, like with like weird crap on it and like one eye that's like different than the other eye. Like it's fairly accurate to the canon.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
very interesting.
Definitely some cool stuff in here. Definitely some you know, there are some use cases that you could, you know, come up with some cool. It would be neat to do some concept art. Maybe while you're demoing, I might try to find a more complex model to put in here and see what what kind of results we get.
Sounds great.
So, all right. Well, I'll let Cory take over and show you some of the music stuff.
Yeah, music stuff. So there's not there's not like a ton of like really accessible like music generation tools that are similar to this, right? Like these like text-based prompt to audio. Doesn't seem to exist in a public way that is accessible. However, the folks who make ChatGPT also make this thing called Jukebox, which is a neural net that generates music, including singing as audio, based on text prompts. So you cannot play around with this yourself, but you can hear the samples that they've generated, and they are wild. Okay, yeah, let's just listen to this one. This classic pop in the style of Frank Sinatra.
It's Christmas time and you know what that means. Oh, it's hot tub time. As I like the tree this year, will be in a tub. Oh.
As I light the tree this year, we'll be in a tub. Is the lyric. It's like this is, and you actually see, this display. It's showing you what portion of this lyric. So this is I believe the functionality here is that these lyrics are input. I don't know. These are probably. I'm guessing these are probably generated by ChatGPT. And then you can see the highlighted words. I'll see if I can make this a little. Oh, I can't make it any bigger apparently. Oh, it's going to re-render all this stuff. Okay. I can make it a little bigger, and maybe you'll see a little better. The lit words are the words that it's dreaming on at that moment.
It's Christmas time, and you know what that means.
It's hot tub time.
It's hot tub time.
Oh, it's hot tub time. As I like the tree this year, will be in a tub. Oh, it's hot tub time.
So I'm pretty sure that Frank Sinatra never sang a song about hot tub time, but there it is. That's his voice. Unmistakably the voice of Frank Sinatra. Some of these are way worse. This pop in the style. Whew, sounds like music. But like that doesn't sound anything like Katy Perry to me. I don't know. Yeah. So these are some like nice examples that they've shared. But you can also poke around in their raw sample collection. And I found some really interesting things in here. This one in particular, I thought was really funny. Oh wait, is it that one? No, it's one of the 5B lyrics. This one, yeah. It's just so wild. It's got this, it's very much like the aural equivalent of those like deep dream images, like where it's just all kind of like morphed together and wrong. But like, I kind of love this. These are all so bizarre. Like, where was I found one in particular that I really liked. I think it's this one. Oh man, that's so trippy. It's really interesting because it sounds like music that we're familiar with, but just like across the other side of the uncanny valley or something. And I really like that. So why am I excited about this? Because of sampling. Because this is a song that nobody made. Whatever, like these folks probably have the right to this, but like, you could train your own model on some songs you fed it and generate a piece of music that nobody had the rights to. And then you could sample that. So that's what I did. I recorded this into Ableton. So it's over here now. So this is cool. Like I could flip that into I'm inspired by this thing. I think it's really interesting sounding. But this sound is only like as useful as I can like get stuff at it. So I think some of y'all are probably aware of this already. But there used to be a truism in the world of audio where people like a common thing would be like, hey, how do I get this song without the vocals? How do I take the vocals out of this song? And we would always say, you can't unbake a cake. Get out of here. Right? Like once all the, like, that was the analogy. When you've mixed all the audio sources together and they're all combined, they're combined and you can't do anything about it. But those days are over, thanks to AI. So some of you I know are already messing around with this stuff. But I'm going to show you now. So the tool that I found that I like is at vocalremover.org. It's called Splitter AI. And this is an AI algorithm that listens to your piece of audio and separates the different elements. So I've pulled up this particular thing in Finder, and I'm gonna flop it in here. So it takes a second to do some analysis. This is a relatively short piece, so it shouldn't take as long as some other things do. And then we will get something very intriguing. I'm kind of curious what it does because this is a very noisy source, and it's not great about noise sometimes, right? AI is not the smartest.
Watch what you say there, Cory.
Well, it's only as smart as what it's trained on. And so if it's not trained on a bunch of noise music, if you feed it something really noisy, it's going to not do as well as if it's trained on, if it's trained on a bunch of like piano pop.
Gave me something.
It gave me something. So here's why I'm excited about this. Pretty clean.
Yeah, that was impressive. Even with like almost illegible
Yeah, it never actually sings real words. It fails at words.
It's really impressive.
It's got some really wacky aspects to it. Like, check out the drums. Like, these are good. They're weird. Like, kind of like weird heaving sounds. Like, I'm all about it. Let's, so I was gonna save a couple of things out of this. Save the drums. We can save the vocal. And let me make sure that doesn't give it like with the current mix. No, cool. Yeah, you can just like click save and just grab like the different things. Grab the weird music loops too. And then, so these are all exported as WAV, which is super convenient because waves are always the exact same length. So I should be able to drop these into live. And now I have stems.
Huh.
And I can actually mix this thing.
Pretty sweet.
Ah! This is like you young people who are like hearing about this and you're just gonna grow up with this as being a normal thing. Like it's gonna be so cool. Like the world is gonna be so different now that you can do stuff like this. Like all the little pieces of things are all here at your disposal. Like that weird distorted thing at the beginning. I love that, you know? So good. And, you know, I could lop that thing off, like just slide this guy over, click that warping on, warp from there. Yeah. I would use these drums in a track. I just like straight up would. I think they have that like kind of like weird, wacky, noisy quality that I really love. I really want to like be able to train a model on this. Like, I'm like so anxious to try something like this where I can provide input. It's gonna be so cool. Like these vocal samples are also just great. Like they have that kind of like haunting, familiar but unfamiliar quality that makes a great like vocal. You know what I mean? Like just like loop that, and like that's a vibe, you know. I think it's so cool. So yeah, so those are like a combination of two different tools, right? AI generated and then AI split music. All of a sudden now I have pieces of a song that I can play around with that nobody owns. That's like a unique composition, right? If I was able to generate this myself, of course. Someone like another possible use of some of these things. I'm kind of curious if we can do this in ChatGPT. So Quentin, one of my students, was pointing out that you can use this thing to generate musical patterns. And so let's see if we can like get it to write us a chord progression. Give me a chord progression that sounds like a UKG song. Some jazzy chords. This is just like autumn leaves. No, boo. This is so okay, A minor 7, D minor 7, G 9, C major 7. We'll play that. That is like the basic jazz chord. I used the word jazz, and so it gave me the most generic jazz chord progression I possibly could, which is a little bit disappointing. But here I'll play it. That's A minor 9. And then we're gonna duplicate, A minor. And we'll solo this. We'll set this to more garagey tempo. So to make an A minor 9 chord, this is a diatonic chord progression. A minor 9, D minor 7, G 9, C major 7. These are all notes in the key of C. So I can fold this away to the C scale and generate this chord progression very easily. I can do, like, since these are all the roots of each chord, I'm going to copy paste, up, up. Now there's the third. Copy paste, up, up. There's the fifth. Copy paste, up, up. There's the seventh. So then A minor 9 and G, A minor and G get a ninth as well. And so we'll get those by, leave out the fifth. We'll shift that up. We'll play a ninth there. And then that's a terrible voicing, so we need to improve that a bit. We'll move these thirds up an octave, and then we'll spread this voicing out a bit more. That's a little dark. I don't like that voicing. Like, so that's a chord progression it gave me. That's all right, you know. Let's see if we can get to like do something a little more interesting. Something more contemporary. It just took off the extensions.
No.
It's really not very creative about these chord progressions. This is these are all variations on the same chord progression. F is a substitute for D minor. Okay, here we go. Here's something different. E minor, D, A minor, C. Cool, let's try that. E minor. E minor, D, A minor, C. Copy paste, up, up, copy paste, up, up. And then we'll take these root notes, copy paste, shift down, and then let's fix these voicings. I don't know about that. It's whatever. So I'm just gonna quick like give these like a really sort of basic sort of like group of three rhythm kind of thing. And then I think this voicing could be more interesting, like. Oh, whatever. Let's see. A bass line for that chord progression. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's like here, write a Rudy chord progression. Oh, interesting. Oh, here it actually wrote a little bass line with a little little extra note at the end. So let's check that out. So we're going to sounds, I'll go to bass. We're gonna get out like a sort of housey sound since it's writing. We'll go like this organ bass energy. Classic. Let's get rid of that delay. I don't like that on there. So it says E, D, A, C, G. So, oops. Option drag that. E, D, A, C, G. I'm gonna take a little bit of a. I'm gonna take a little bit of advice from this other thing and do this idea where it like uses the root and then the fifth of each one. Oh wait, it actually really incorrectly it says that E is the fifth of F. That's really weird. It really failed actually writing that one. I didn't pay attention to the key of this vocal at all. So I wonder if there's like a thing like going on where it has like a preference for the key of C, you know, like a lot, just because it's like simple. Like it noticed that like it gave me key of C chord progressions. I asked it for a different key, and it gave me something else in the key of C. It's only giving me chords from the key of C. If I ask it for specifically the key of E flat.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Did it do it that time?
It did. Well, no. It gave me a different. It just basically it wrote a different chord progression instead of E. That's really cool. Yeah, so it's like it's not very smart, right? It says the chord progression E minor, D, A minor, C in the key of E flat is E flat major, D flat major, B flat minor, A flat, which is very much not the same thing at all. It lowered these ones by a half step and then raised this one by a half step, and then changed this one completely. That's kind of cool, actually. What does that sound like? All right, we're gonna have to get out of here in a second, aren't we?
Oh, we're getting close.
We are getting close. Anyways, I feel like I'm engaged over here. I'm like, man, I want to do this some more. This is so fun. As anyone who's watched me on the stream do music stuff knows that I really like to do things. I like writing prompts. I'm fond of any technique that like gives you like prompts like concept. And I think it's a really useful thing. Anytime you're working in music, just like have some sort of outside influence. Like a lot of times we take influence from like other things we're listening to or whatever, but I like literal writing prompts, like this sort of thing, where it's like, sure, I'll use your chord progression, computer. I'll try that. Cool. What's a good speed garage bass line for that progression? Gave me the wrong chord, but oh hey. It's changed speed garage bass line for the chord progression E flat, D flat, B flat minor, A flat. Cool. Let's try this. Syncopate pattern E flat, A flat, D flat, A flat. duplicate, duplicate. And then it says there's some A flat, E flat. Right, so things here is like this, like, oh yeah, go down to this like A flat kind of sound. And then it's pretty vague. G flat, D flat, A flat. Try G flat note. And then it says D flat, A flat. All right.
That's a cool one. Still reminds me of The Sims.
Huh?
It very much reminds me of The Sims.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's like it feels so much like Simlish for sure. But right, like I don't know, like this is a musical idea, right? Like it's not necessarily great, but it sounds like music, you know? Like and like it's something I wouldn't have done, you know, myself. I don't think if it like without this prompt, you know? Like it's pretty cool. AI generated dance music, everyone. Fun. Yeah. Cool. AI. So, you know, it can be your friend for sure. Like, it's really fun to like, I'm having fun with ChatGPT, like trying to like poke at it and find its like edges of like what it's capable of. Like, it's really not great at doing this music generation stuff because it doesn't seem to be actually have an awareness of music theory. Which makes sense if it's crawling the internet and just looking for musical advice. Most, like I'd say, a good number of the people out there on the internet putting out musical advice have no concept of musical theory either. So it's only as smart as what you feed to it. So got to train it on my old textbooks or something.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, cool.
Cool.
I hope you found this as interesting as we did. We were both having a ton of fun, like just exploring this stuff and like trying to figure out like how it can be useful for us, you know. You can't fight progress, but you can sure. Well, you sure can fight progress, but probably maybe you know, progress is going to happen whether you like it or not. Yeah, it's definitely going to fight back. So this sort of thing is here to stay, and it's going to change a lot of things about the way things happen in the world. And I'm really excited to see what people create, like with the help of like a dreaming external brain, you know, like tapping into the collective unconscious, like in a certain kind of a way, and I think it's really fascinating. If you found this interesting, let us know. If you know any cool tools that you think that we should know about, comment about on this video, please. Like we would love to like try new stuff. Chat us, find us on the Discord, and let us know all that stuff. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll show you this. We got like a minute here.
Oh, cool, dude.
This one turned out kind of neat, I thought.
Yeah.
So I got like this free cityscape and was plugging it in, getting some interesting stuff, different angles.
Oh, that one's cool. These
like
things
this
have a.
too.
That one's good colors.
Yeah, I might try this when I get home and add some, because for some reason it won't let me go any larger than the 512 default. So on here it looks terrible. It's all like stretched out and stuff.
Right.
But something with more depth to it, maybe give.
Isn't it one of those things where it would only look right from the right angle?
Yeah,
It's like a projection. It's like a projection map, right?
Yeah, you have to what you'd probably want to do is just set up your camera and leave it there and then project something. So, anyways.
Totally.
All right, well, I guess we'll see you all next week. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
All right.